Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast.
Today we are covering Chapter 232, The 100 Million Man.
And what a title. What a chapter. We all knew it was coming. We all wanted it to happen. But the sheer brutal satisfaction of this ending? One punch. One single punch. After all that talk, all that bouncing around, all that noise from Bellamy, it's one of those moments that just completely redefines the power scale of the entire world.
It's a statement, and it's a statement that's going to ripple far beyond this little town in Jaya.
It absolutely is. You know, we live for these kinds of statement moments on the show. If you want to make sure you're right here with us when the next one drops, maybe consider letting that little bell icon know you're part of our crew. It helps us find all the other dreamers out there.
A good way to stay current.
For sure. All right, let's get into it, because this entire chapter is a masterclass in setup and payoff. It starts so small, with just some random drunk guy in Mocktown.
He's taking a leak into the ocean, as one does, when the news coup drops off a fresh stack of wanted posters.
The casualness of it is perfect. He's just flipping through them, probably looking for familiar faces or small-time bounties, and then he stops. He sees Luffy. He sees Zoro, the two guys who got beaten to a pulp and thrown out of a bar without fighting back just hours ago.
And you can see him thinking, oh, these guys, the dreamers. But then he looks closer at Luffy's poster. He's expecting to see the 30 million from back in East Blue.
But it's not 30 million. We get that great close-up on the numbers, the extra zero, 100 million berries. The guy's eyes just bug out of his head. The horror on his face says everything. He just realized the biggest monster on the entire island isn't some loudmouth with springs for legs.
It's a fundamental shift in his understanding of the world. Just moments ago, Bellamy was the undisputed king of Mocktown. His power was tangible, visible. He beat people up, he stole their gold. Now this piece of paper arrives, delivered by a bird, and it completely rewrites the hierarchy of the entire island.
It's like finding out the quiet guy in the corner of the bar is actually a world champion boxer. The poster is a narrative bomb, and this drunk guy is just patient zero for the explosion of panic that's about to sweep the town.
And that number isn't arbitrary. Think about what this means. The world government has officially acknowledged that Monkey D. Luffy is the one who took down the warlord Crocodile in Alabasta.
Exactly. This isn't just a regular bounty increase. This is a promotion. This is the government screaming to the world, this kid is not a joke. He took down one of our pillars of stability, and he's a global level threat. Let's put this in perspective. The highest bounty we saw in East Blue was Arlong's 20 million. Don Krieg was 17 million. Luffy tripled his own bounty, and then added another 10 million on top for good measure.
More than that, his previous bounty was for defeating the strongest captains in an entire sea. This new bounty is for defeating one man. The value assigned to taking down Crocodile is 70 million berries. It places a warlord in an entirely different category of threat, and by extension, it places Luffy in that category as well.
And remember, Crocodile's last known bounty was 81 million. Luffy has now surpassed a former warlord's bounty. He's playing in the big leagues now, officially.
They tried to cover it up, giving Smoker the credit, but you can't hide something like that forever. The truth got out, and this bounty is the proof. Luffy isn't just some upstart rookie anymore. He's in an entirely different weight class. This bounty is an admission of failure on the world government's part. They failed to control the narrative.
A super failure. And it's so great because it means there are people within the system or just people who saw what really happened who couldn't let that lie stand. The truth of Alabasta found its way out, and now it's printed on paper for the whole world to see.
It really hints that the world government is not a monolith. There seem to be factions and competing interests. Someone wanted the truth about Crocodile's defeat known.
He's a whole new division. And while this is all happening, where's our future pirate king? He's running, not from anything, but to something.
He's got Nami's words ringing in his ears, that they don't have time to mess around if they want to catch the knock-up stream.
But more than that, he's thinking about cricket. He's remembering Cricket telling him about his ancestor, Noland, and the promise of the City of Gold. This isn't about Luffy's pride. Bellamy didn't hurt his pride. He got laughed at, beaten up, and walked away. He didn't care.
It's the core of his character. He will endure any humiliation himself, but the moment you bring his friends into it, a switch flips. Bellamy didn't just steal gold. He trampled on the legacy of a man's family and attacked someone who had shown the Straw Hats hospitality.
It's the Shanks lesson all over again. Remember back in Chapter 1? Higuma, the mountain bandit, pours sake on Shanks' head, spits on him, and Shanks just laughs it off with his crew. He tells Luffy some fights aren't worth fighting. But the second Higuma threatens Luffy, a kid he considers a friend, the smile is gone. The look in his eyes changes. It's the same look we see on Luffy's face now.
It's a very specific kind of anger. It's not a hot-headed rage. It's a cold, focused resolve. The decision has already been made. There is no negotiation, no discussion. There is only a problem to be solved, and Luffy is the solution.
And it's that switch that sends him sprinting back towards Mocktown with this grim, determined look on his face. Meanwhile, the very guy he's looking for is having the time of his life.
Bellamy and his crew are in the bar celebrating. They've got Cricket's gold piled on the table and they're mocking the Saruyama Alliance, calling them pathetic for clinging to a 400-year-old fairy tale.
The arrogance is just pouring off him. He's the king of this trash heap, and he thinks he's just proven his whole new era philosophy right. Dreams are for idiots. Tangible gold is what matters. He's literally toasting to the death of romanticism. It's so on the nose, but so effective because you just hate him for it.
His philosophy is a childish oversimplification. He equates the new era with a rejection of the past and a focus on immediate material gain. He sees dreams not as a driving force for ambition, but as a weakness, a delusion for those not strong enough to take what they want in the here and now.
He thinks he's so modern and cool, but he's just a bully with a gimmick. He's the physical embodiment of the phrase, might makes right, and he has no concept of honor or legacy. He's a hollow man.
And it's implied that this isn't even his own philosophy. He's idolizing someone far more dangerous, a man who he believes is ushering in this new age. He's a follower, a parrot, who has mistaken cruelty for strength.
A parrot with springs for legs. And right as he's basking in his victory, the drunk from the docks bursts through the door.
He's panicked, screaming, looking for Bellamy. He grabs him and tells him, "You've got to get out of town right now before he comes and kills you."
The poor guy is trying to save Bellamy's life. He saw the poster, he connected the dots, and his first instinct was to warn the biggest jerk in town. It shows you the level of fear a 100 million berry bounty commands. It overrides personal feelings. It's a matter of public safety.
Bellamy, of course, just scoffs. Who could possibly threaten him, the great Bellamy, with his 55 million berry bounty? In his mind, 55 million is an enormous number. It makes him a big shot. He can't conceive of a threat nearly double his own value.
And then the drunk just lays it all out. He tells the entire bar. Straw Hat Luffy's bounty isn't 30 million, it's 100 million, and Roronoa Zoro's is 60 million.
The entire mood of the bar just shatters. You go from celebration to sheer terror. These are pirates in the Grand Line. They know what those numbers mean. A 100 million berry man is a force of nature. Zoro's bounty alone is higher than Bellamy's. The combined bounties of the two dreamers they mocked is 160 million.
You see the sweat dripping down everyone's faces. The glasses stop clinking. The laughter dies. Everyone in that bar who just a second ago was cheering for Bellamy is now looking at him like he's a dead man walking. They get it. They understand the math.
This is why the bounty system is such a brilliant part of their world. It's an instant, objective measure of perceived threat. It cuts through all the posturing and bravado. For the pirates of Mocktown, that number is a more reliable source of truth than Bellamy's words could ever be.
Everyone gets it, except the one person who needs to. Bellamy just starts laughing. He can't process it. It doesn't fit into his worldview, so he decides the posters must be fake.
It's a fascinating look at his psychology. His reality is so small that a truth that contradicts it must be a lie. It's a form of cognitive dissonance. His entire identity, his status as the strongest man in town, is predicated on the idea that he is superior to those dreamers. For Luffy to be worth 100 million berries would mean that Bellamy's entire judgment is flawed, that his philosophy is wrong, and that he is, in fact, weak.
His ego is so fragile, he'd rather believe the entire world is lying to him than accept that he made a mistake. What a clown.
He accuses the townspeople of forging the posters to scare him, and because he's the big shot, they start to calm down. They believe him. He's their alpha. His confidence, however misplaced, is infectious. They choose to believe the comfortable lie over the terrifying truth.
They believe him for about 5 seconds, because then a voice echoes through the entire town from outside. A shout, just one name, Bellamy.
The timing is perfect. Luffy isn't sneaking in. He's not planning an ambush. He's announcing his presence. He's standing on top of a building, waiting. He is issuing a formal challenge, not as a pirate to a pirate, but as a judge to a criminal.
It's so cold, so badass. The whole town hears it. Bellamy walks out, all smug, and sees Luffy silhouetted against the sky.
Luffy doesn't waste any time. He doesn't monologue. He just tells him, "Give back the gold."
It's not a request, it's a command. Luffy sets the terms immediately. This isn't about their fight in the bar or their dueling philosophies. This is about a singular, concrete transgression. You stole from my friend. Return it.
Bellamy uses his spring powers to bounce up to the roof with him. He's still mocking him, saying that finders keepers is the pirate way. The gold is his now.
He's trying to frame this within the lawless code of pirates, a world he thinks he understands and dominates. He's attempting to draw Luffy into a debate on his terms.
And Luffy's response is so simple, so perfect. Then I'm stealing it back. It's not a debate, it's a statement of fact. This is what is going to happen now. Luffy isn't operating on Bellamy's code or any code. He is operating on the principle of protecting his friends. It's a force of nature, and it just declared its intent.
You can see the doubt starting to creep into Bellamy's crew, though. Sarkis, his first mate, tells him to stop fooling around. He's starting to wonder if maybe they misjudge things. He even questions if Luffy's original 30 million bounty was real.
Too late for doubts now, Sarkis. Your captain is about to write a check his bouncy body can't cash. Bellamy asks Luffy if he's just going to stand there and get beaten up again, or if he actually knows how to fight.
And Luffy gives him the coldest line in the chapter. The last time was different.
Chills. That one line says everything. It reframes the entire previous encounter. It wasn't weakness, it was restraint. It wasn't that Luffy couldn't fight back, it was that he chose not to. The first time, it was about proving a point by not fighting. It was about showing that their dreams were too big to be bothered by someone like Bellamy. He was channeling his inner Shanks.
Exactly. Shanks taught him that some fights aren't worth fighting. You can spill a drink on me, you can spit on me, I'll just laugh it off. That was the situation in the bar. Bellamy's words were meaningless, so a physical response was unnecessary. It was a test of conviction, which Luffy and Zoro passed.
But Shanks also said, "But no matter what, I will not forgive anyone who hurts my friends." And that's the mode Luffy is in now. This fight is different because Bellamy hurt Cricket. He crossed the line. The conviction has been proven. Now it's time for the consequence.
Bellamy doesn't understand any of that nuance, of course. He just hears a challenge. He can't comprehend a reality where someone would voluntarily not fight him. To him, not fighting back is absolute proof of weakness. So he launches himself off the building, using his springs to crack the tower Luffy's standing on.
The whole top of the tower just crumbles and Luffy falls with it, crashing to the ground. Bellamy lands on another roof, laughing, and readies his attack. Spring snipe.
He shoots himself like a bullet right at Luffy, who gets knocked back again. But he just gets back up. He's not even fazed. There's no dust off, no grimace of pain. He just stands up, his expression unchanged.
This should be the first huge red flag for Bellamy. He just hit this guy with a full power attack, and it did nothing. Absolutely nothing. But Bellamy is so deep in his own hype, he doesn't even see it. He just sees that he knocked Luffy down.
It's that classic moment where the villain throws what they believe is a powerful blow, and the hero simply absorbs it. It's the moment the power gap becomes visually, undeniably clear to the audience, even if the characters themselves haven't realized it yet.
This is where Bellamy decides to end it. He starts bouncing all over town, building up speed, using his ultimate move, Spring Hopper, the same move he used to take out that other pirate, Roshio. The whole town becomes his pinball machine.
And the whole time, he's monologuing. It's his fatal flaw. He's so in love with the sound of his own voice and the supposed brilliance of his philosophy. He's not just mocking Luffy. He's mocking Mont Blanc Noland. He's mocking cricket. He's mocking the very concept of dreams.
He's just talking and talking and talking. The age of dreams is over, blah, blah, blah. He's basically narrating his own demise. And down on the ground, Luffy is silent. He's just listening. He's letting Bellamy say everything he needs to say. He's letting him dig his own grave with his words. And then he remembers Bellamy's question from the bar. Do you even know how to throw a punch?
It's the final piece of setup, the question that the entire chapter has been building to answer. And as Bellamy is mid-air, flying in for the final blow, Luffy cracks his knuckles.
Oh, the satisfaction. It's the single most satisfying sound effect in the whole series up to this point. Just that one little crack. It's not a battle cry. It's not an announcement. It's the sound of a machine preparing to do its job. It's the period at the end of Bellamy's sentence.
Bellamy is still shouting about his new era, about how dreamers will die. He's coming straight for Luffy's head, a coiled spring of kinetic energy and misplaced ideology.
And Luffy doesn't move. He doesn't dodge. He doesn't even look stressed. He just whines back, and he throws one punch.
Just a punch. No Gomu Gomu no pistol, no bazooka. He doesn't name the attack.
No special move at all. That's so key. Naming a move would have dignified Bellamy. It would have made him an official opponent. This was pest control. Just a raw, furious, righteous punch straight to Bellamy's face. And it connects with so much force that Bellamy is out before he even hits the ground. He's just instantly unconscious. Super.
The impact is devastating. The way it's drawn gives it such finality. It leaves a perfect imprint of Luffy's fist sunk into Bellamy's cheek and the side of his head. He goes down and he does not get back up. The physics of it are incredible. All of Bellamy's forward momentum from his spring hopper is completely, instantly negated and reversed.
One punch, a 55 million berry man who thinks he's the king of the new age, taken out by one single nameless punch. It's maybe the biggest flex Luffy has ever had. He didn't just beat Bellamy, he dismissed him. He invalidated his entire existence with one motion.
It wasn't a fight. It was an execution. Bellamy was so far beneath him that he wasn't worthy of a full fight. Luffy just needed to end the problem, and he did so in the most efficient way possible. It's the ultimate statement of class difference. It's the master showing the student that he doesn't even understand the basics.
And that punch, bro, it wasn't just for cricket. It felt like it was for every dreamer in the whole story. It was for Noland, for the Saruyama Alliance, for Zoro wanting to be the world's greatest swordsman, for Sanji and the All Blue, for Nami and her map, for Usopp being a brave warrior of the sea, for Chopper being able to cure any disease. It was for every single person who's ever been told their goal was stupid or impossible. It was a punch for the soul of One Piece.
It's the ultimate refutation of Bellamy's philosophy. Bellamy believes only in tangible power he can see. Well, he just saw it, and it knocked him unconscious. The irony is that the greatest, most tangible power on that island was fueled by the most intangible thing of all, Luffy's loyalty to a friend and his belief in that friend's dream.
He just ran out of ways to stop it. That's what makes Luffy so terrifying. It's not that he's just getting stronger. It's that the world eventually runs out of ways to tell him no. Bellamy told him no, and the world corrected itself. The gold is going back where it belongs, and the loudmouth is asleep on the pavement. Balance is restored.
It's a perfect end to the conflict. No protracted battle, no back and forth, just a clear, undeniable statement of the difference in their levels, not just in power, but in will. Luffy's will, forged by his connections and his dream, was infinitely stronger than Bellamy's, which was built on nothing but arrogance and borrowed words.
Absolutely incredible. Oda's author comment this week was pretty funny too. He said he's so out of shape that just walking around town gives him muscle cramps. And every time he passes a gym, he just thinks, oh, a gym.
He says someone should just tell him to go to it, you bum.
It's funny to think of him writing this incredibly powerful physical scene and then admitting he can't walk around town without getting sore. The mind of a genius.
That's a good reminder of the person behind the pages.
For sure. Man, what a chapter. If a single punch ever deserved a thumbs up, it was that one. If you agree, feel free to leave a comment below telling us what you thought of this absolute beatdown.
We'd be interested to hear it. Now, shall we move to predictions for the next chapter?
Let's do it. I'll go first. My first prediction is that we're going to see the immediate aftermath. Luffy grabs the gold, meets back up with the crew, and they get back to Cricket's place just in the nick of time. Cricket and the Alliance will be beaten up, but seeing the gold returned will give them the resolve they need for the final push to get the Going Merry ready for the knock-up stream.
That seems very likely. The clock is ticking.
My second prediction is that we're going to cut away and see Blackbeard's crew. They were in Mocktown just a little while ago. I think we'll see them either leaving the island or somewhere nearby, and they'll get the news about Luffy's 100 million bounty. And I want to see Teach's reaction. He sized Luffy up. He knew he was special, but I bet even he didn't expect a number that high, that fast.
That would be a very important perspective to get. Okay, my turn. My first prediction concerns Mocktown itself. The entire town just witnessed this. They saw Bellamy, their local terror, get annihilated by a single punch. The Straw Hats are no longer the dreamer idiots. They are now the single most dangerous force on the island. I predict no one will even look at them funny for the rest of their time there. They've earned a level of fear and respect that will make their departure much smoother.
Yeah, good call. Nobody's picking a fight with them now.
My second prediction is that we might find out a little more about the Drunkard who delivered the news. He's been a recurring face in town and was used as the catalyst for this whole event. Maybe he's just there for the plot, but it's possible he has a slightly larger role to play, even if it's just to represent the common person's view of the changing tides of piracy.
Interesting. I like that. What's your last one?
My final prediction is that we will see a reaction from the world government or the Marines. 100 million bounty is one thing, but for that man to show up in Jaya, that's another. I think we might see a panel of a vice admiral or maybe even someone higher up being informed of Straw Hat's location and realizing they have a serious problem brewing.
Oh, that's a good one. The consequences are starting to spread. The world is watching now.
It is, and I don't think it's prepared for what it's about to see.